Hello, this video is not sponsored. I bought this set on Amazon for $24 US, though as of the time of the recording of this video, I'm seeing it at $27. This is my first time doing a review of a set from the Sluban company. This particular set comes with 335 pieces. It's a very legitimate company that's been around for quite some years. As a matter of fact, I think this exact set has been around for quite a while. Interestingly, the box is a nice retail box, but it was stuffed full. I don't think I've ever received a product of any sort that had the contents so tightly packed inside. There was no space for anything to move around. I opened the box and nothing came out. I had to go in there and really just rip all the bags out. Interestingly, the bags are not numbered, unfortunately, so you will want to expect to do a little bit of pre-sorting unless you just want to kind of go at it chaos style with a whole pile of bricks. As you can see, this comes with a plane, which is 6 studs wide at the fuselage, has 4 figures, and an old style of 4 stud wide ambulance. Really quickly getting this out of the way, I just wanted to point out that pretty much all the decorations you see in this are done with stickers. The sticker sheet, I think, was fine. It's clear backed, but the vinyl is nice and flexible, so I didn't have any trouble dealing with that. I like the half fenders that they use here. They're round, not the usual exact shape that you usually see around, and they're done in halves, which is a more useful piece than doing it all together. And they have an interesting design for the wheel and tire, the wheel and tire is actually all one. It's all made of plastic. It's not rubber, but then the insert, the white piece there, is its own separate piece. Around the back, so this is able to open up and a gurney can come out. The gurney is an interesting design, which also has a little IV on it there. And of course, you can take the roof off right here. There we go. And you're intended to put a figure in there. I personally recommend that you take the windscreen off as well to get your figure in place. It's kind of funky with the slightly loose steering wheel. It's not going to fall out or anything, but it's just a little bit weird looking, having it the exact same color as the kind of the stem underneath there. Given how cheap this thing was, I expected the plastic to be a little bit cheaper than what I'm used to and possibly even to have some issues. There were a couple of small issues along the way, but the whole set did go together just fine. There's a little bit of translucency to like the red. You can see a little bit of light coming through. It doesn't have as much dye in the colored plastics. There's a little bit of variation in the white as well. These are actually nice. I like how the engines are done. Nice set of windows there. And then turn it around to the other side. You see that this door doesn't quite fit in just right. It's a little bit off. Obviously, this is a set designed for small kids, but I will point out that this kind of tries to use a minimum number of pieces. There's not an excess of parts that are intended to maximize durability while you're building it. And once it's done, it's very, very playable. It's actually pretty lightweight, but the structure of it is pretty good. However, along the way, I think some younger kids might find it a little bit difficult to successfully put a few of the things together, just because you need to kind of pay attention a little bit. I think more than you might normally expect. This gurney is supposed to be in the back. I accidentally knocked it out while I was transporting this. But you notice this other issue right here with some weird color in there. They just had a mix of a little bit of yellowishness that came into this particular batch of plastics. I wouldn't be surprised if this happens with some kind of regularity, personally, just because, it's just an odd thing to see. Oh, the door is able to open. It's got a little custom connection in there. The red stripe has a sticker to do that, but you just pull this around. So that's how you get the kind of minifig style access in there. And I want to point out one other weird thing about this. The sticker right here on the side of the canopy is a little bit too tall. So if I get that to glare just right off the light, you can see that the clear part actually extends down below. When I just lined up the line over here, and the bottom of the sticker just goes below. So technically, if I want to take this canopy off now, I'm going to have to undo the sticker right there a little bit. So what I would recommend there is either slicing off that little bit of extra, or just fold it underneath to the other side. It looks like it's just kind of tearing off right now, but yeah, the easiest thing is just to kind of fold it underneath. But it is unfortunate that is the case. Obviously, we don't want to have to do things like that in general. The cockpit, I think, is fine. It's funny that they use this style of hands to create the yoke there, the flight yoke. These are actually stickers for the console, both of those. Their little seat piece is kind of nice. It's short, low profile, but kind of nice in its own way. It's a little bit difficult to get somebody to sit into that front seat right there because, when you open this up, you can kind of make it happen, but this portion of the roof is not designed to come off easily. Now you can take it off. It's just, it doesn't have the tiled area right in here, to make it easy. So again, with younger kids, if they just kind of pull the whole thing off, they might take some of the extra pieces off. Most kids aren't really going to be freaking out about that. They're not going to be too worried about it, but it is something that I wanted to call out that's just a little bit lacking in design. It's a little bit lacking in maturity of the design and design sensibilities. Got another IV over here. This is supposed to be a little life, monitor, life science monitor, which just doesn't have a sticker on it at all. That would have been a great place to have a console sticker, would have made sense. And that back there is where the gurney would be held. Now, technically, you do want to get access to the rear here. This is another situation where you don't have a good number of tiled pieces. So right there, this plate came up, which is not something that I would normally want to see to get access in here, because you're definitely supposed to get access in here because you want to be able to get access to that gurney. Actually, that should be underneath there. Now it locks into place kind of. And you also have this nice little box. This doesn't have anything in it right now, but take a spare stud or something like that, and a couple small basic pieces, and role play as somebody going back to access some equipment in there. This thing is functional, like that's a pretty good use of the space overall. The overall build for this was fine. The instructions are fine. It's just, like I said, a little bit unfortunate that it has a couple spots where if you're not careful, you pull it apart to get access to the interior, you might take more than you want to. That's really the worst thing about it. But like the quality of the plastic, honestly, is fine. It's not good. It's not the best. It's not up to par with modern standards. But the set did go together, does stay together. It just has a little bit of issue with a little bit of color variation and a little bit of translucency to the parts, which is honestly what I would expect for something this cheap. But I did want to call those things out so that And again, this was an older set. And that door just not fitting quite right. I don't know if I did something wrong there, if there's a way to align that a little bit better. But it seems to be getting caught just on the inside here. We'll close that down. Take a look at the underside of it as well, since I haven't shown that. The wheels or tires are plastic. These things, I guess, if you try to adjust this too much, they can fall off. Or if you hit the wing tips a lot, they'll fall off. Probably kids who are more rough with it will just leave those off entirely, or simply attach this plate, the red plate, to the end so it doesn't come off as easily. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's look at the figures. These actually look pretty nice to me. I personally don't think that they are legally distinct from a trademark perspective from these guys from Denmark. So I would not be surprised if there are some regions where you will get a set like this that does not include the figures just for legal reasons. But I do think the figures are nice. They've got their own little bit of style. You see there's a coat here as well. The prints are done very well. Interestingly, they have ball joints for the wrist. You can barely use it. There's barely any usable range, but technically you can move the wrist left and right and up and down very, very slightly. Otherwise, pretty standard articulation, except for this weird thing they do with the head. So the neck actually has a ball joint that can turn ever so slightly. I mean, it's very, very subtle. Forward and back is a little bit more, but side to side, not so much. Again, ball joint in there, but it comes pre-assembled. The head comes pre-assembled to the ball joint on the neck, and the neck is like the length of an entire spine. It goes all the way down and connects inside of this to the hip piece. It's really weird. As a result, the head is kind of locked to the hip piece. If that wasn't the case, if it didn't go so far all the way down in there, you would have usable waist articulation, because as it is, this is able to spin around, has a little bit of friction in there, like that's actually usable, but it just has this bar piece. People, when I was building this live on Twitch, people were saying it's like a spine. It's exactly what it's like, and it's attached down here. So it's different. It's weird. Again, I kind of like these. The legs on this particular figure are a little bit loose as well compared to the others. It stands up okay, but just a little bit loose by comparison. All in all, yeah, these look kind of nice to me. And here are the other two. Once again, I rather like how they look, and I think that they look kind of unique. They have their own style. Again, I don't think they're unique enough from these from a legal perspective, but that's not my problem. I like the different hair pieces that they include. Again, the quality of these is generally looking pretty good. Yeah, no issues with the articulation or looseness of the others, just with the one. It was mostly one leg. The set included a bunch of small spares, including some extra hands, and this was really interesting to me. I need to recheck the instructions if there was a spot where I should have used this instead of a regular cylinder. This is the traditional, this is the oldest style of cylinder. I think it first came out in like the 1950s or the 1960s from the Danish brand. It's just really interesting to see that part in use again. And then this is what the sticker sheet looked like. It was crinkled up a little bit, but again, the vinyl is pretty soft on that and pretty flexible, so I did not have any issue there. However, one thing that this set did not include was the Sluban original brick separator. This thing, I wanted to see that. It looks like it's trying to be a dragon or an alligator or something like that. I wanted to see that, but it wasn't included in the set. Boo! Again, I paid $24 US for this. It was that price for quite some time, but when I checked just before starting recording this video, it's back up to $27. That's for 335 pieces. Honestly, I feel like the value here is fine. When you go really, really, really cheap on something, which this is, inexpensive, I mean, I personally expect there to be some compromises on quality. I don't expect this to have top quality in the world. It's under $30 for this much stuff. You know, if this was from the big brand, this amount of stuff today in 2025 would have to cost at least $50 by today's standards. With that much stuff on the inside, definitely this would be at least a $50 set. I could not possibly imagine this being $40, you know. So this is significantly discounted from what you might expect. So you have to expect there to be some compromises, and the compromises that I was expecting were with quality, and that's exactly what I got here. This door not quite fitting, the gurney having a weird color in it, at least one loose leg over here. Was that it? I think that's pretty much. Oh, a little bit of translucency, you know, in the red there. That's exactly the type of stuff that I would expect here. But everything did go together just fine. Everything holds together just fine. It's playable. But I can imagine that some people will get versions of this set that have just a little bit more of an issue, to where like maybe one of the figures doesn't stand up on one of the four figures doesn't stand up fully, or maybe one of the windows doesn't fit quite as well just because the tolerances aren't quite as good. Their quality control isn't quite as good. I don't know what their customer support is like. If they have it, I kind of wouldn't expect it. This is a really, really, really cheap value brand. I didn't look into it. Obviously, if you buy something on like Amazon and you find it to be defective, you can just send it right back and they'll send you a new one and you'll probably be all right. But yeah, compromises. This is what it's all about. This is about getting the lowest cost, the most bang for your buck. And as a result, you don't get a perfect product. I'm personally good with that. I don't recommend this to anybody who wants a really, really high quality product. This I recommend to its target market, its exact target market. Folks who are on a really, really limited low budget, or just don't want to invest. Maybe they don't believe that a particular kid that they would be buying this for as a gift would be convinced by brick-based stuff and want to get into brick-based stuff. And so, the adult buying the stuff doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money on it to start with. And you get something to start with. Let me know what you think about my thoughts on this and what you think about the set on the whole. I will be trying out at least one or two other sets from this company over time. And hopefully I'll find something newer as well, a relatively newer release, because I do believe this one's been on the market for quite some time. And you can kind of see that in the design here, even though the packaging is pretty modern. But thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you again soon.